Thanks for joining me today. This is going to be my first video in a number of videos I plan on bringing to you throughout the course of the year, focusing on my love, which is grilling, smoking, anything outdoors dealing with live fire. Today we're going to be talking all about the brisket, but over the course of the year we're going to be doing some main dishes, we're going to do some side dishes for the barbecue, and we'll do a few things inside. But let's talk brisket. Brisket's a wonderful cut of meat. It's a very beefy, bold cut of meat that if you just give it a little love, a little time, it's a big payoff in the end. Sounds intimidating, but it's really not. We're going to go through the whole process today. We're going to focus on how to set up the meat, how to season it, how to cook it, the techniques on the grill, and then of course the payoff in the end. So thanks for joining us today, and let's get started. Okay, once you've selected your brisket, I usually purchase mine from somewhere like Costco. They have a good selection of meat and their meat quality is pretty good. You want to select one that has a decent fat cap, as I'm pointing out here. You want to choose one that has at least a centimeter or two of fat on the back. You're still going to need to do some trimming, as you can see here. You want to trim away any excessive fat, especially on the meat side. Don't go crazy. You want to leave as much meat behind, but any of those grisly parts, fat, you want to go ahead and remove. And then for the fat cap, you do want to trim that down just a little bit, but remember, you want to keep about 2 centimeters of fat back there. This is going to melt down during the cooking process and marinate that meat. Okay, after you have trimmed your meat of any excessive fat, we are ready for our next step, which is the injection process. The injection of a marinade into the meat imparts more flavor into the meat, but it helps to retain moisture throughout the cooking process. This is an essential step that will take your brisket to the next level. As you can see, I'm using a syringe that is specifically designed for injecting meat. You can pick this up at a hardware store or any type of cooking store. Okay, now we're ready to put our injection together. These are the following ingredients you will need. 1 quart of water, 3 tablespoons of beef bouillon powder, 1 15-ounce can of strong beef broth, and you're going to bring all these ingredients to a boil on a saucepan and then let it cool to room temperature. Now you are ready for your injection. You want to inject your brisket every 1 to 2 centimeters around your brisket, trying to evenly distribute your marinade. Any additional marinade, you want to reserve this. You're going to take your brisket, place it into some type of container, pour that reserved marinade over the top, and let this sit in your refrigerator overnight. After the brisket is set in your refrigerator overnight, you are ready for the next step. Remove your brisket from the marinade, pat it dry, and now we're going to move on to making our rub and getting it ready for the smoker. All right, it's time to move our brisket out to our smoker now. We're using my Primo ceramic cooker. Good grill for doing smoking for single cuts of meat, long, slow smokes. We have it preheated to 250 degrees here. Before we get started, remember my rules. I always tell everyone you want to keep your grate clean, so we're going to use our grill brush here, clean off any old bits of food and dried on stuff. You want to do this every time before you grill, and then keep it oiled. So I have a folded up paper towel and just some cooking oil. We're just going to lightly wipe our grill grates here. This helps to prevent sticking. And just, if you do this every time, helps keep your grill nice and seasoned and prevents any significant future problems. So we're going to go ahead and take the grill grate off so we can add our flavoring wood. And today you can see we're using a combination of some cherry, a little couple chunks of hickory, and then some apple. Apple's kind of my go-to for just about everything. Hickory is good for our bigger cuts of meat, like our brisket we're going to be doing today. But you have to be careful with that one when you're using finer cuts of meat, because that hickory can overtake the flavor of what you're cooking. All right, so we're going to replace our ceramic stone as we're doing indirect cooking. Get a grill grate back on. Let's add our wonderful cut of brisket here. And you want to put this on fat side up, so all those wonderful juices can baste constantly during the cooking process. And so we don't have to be constantly opening and closing the grill grate to check temp, we're going to put an instant read thermometer in. I'll do this right through the fattest part of the meat. Temperature probe for measuring the grill temp, the grate temp. Close this. And now we're going to let the magic of smoke, the Primo, and meat do its work. I'll see you guys in a little while. As you can see, our brisket looks yummy, well marbled. Go ahead and take this wonderful piece of meat off the smoker. And place it onto some heavy-duty aluminum foil. Move our temperature probe. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap our brisket. And what this does, this allows the juices to reaccumulate. The meat will baste in those juices, because we are not going to touch this brisket for about 2 hours. I know that sounds a long time, but you will be well rewarded. And in addition to this foil, we are going to get an old towel and wrap this also. And we're going to set this in a warm, dry place and let it continue to just do its thing. So I'll see you in about 2 hours then. Okay, after your brisket has rested for 2 hours wrapped in foil and wrapped in a towel, you want to take it out and place it on a cutting board. The first thing that you want to do are to find which way the muscle fibers are running, because we are going to cut perpendicular to these muscle fibers. You want to cut your brisket in 1-inch strips perpendicular to these muscle fibers. By doing this, your meat will be very tender and succulent. If you were to cut with the muscle fibers, your brisket would be very tough to chew on and not good eats. All right, we are all done with our brisket today. So now for the final part, my daughter Micah is going to be our final taste tester. We'll give her a piece of meat and let's see how we've done. Perfect. Sweet, succulent meat. If you follow those steps, you'll get it every time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button below and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.